Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well today. So this is a very different video than I would normally make. Usually I talk about autism, how it affects my life, and all that. But this is a different video, and I just want to let you all know, first off, that if you don't like hearing about death or the afterlife or anything like that, then this probably wouldn't be the video for you. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So just giving you all a fair warning that I'll be talking about some possibly triggering things for you all. But I do feel like this video might help some of you if you've lost a loved one recently, or just anyone at all at any point in time, because unfortunately it's a sad part of our life that we have to lose our loved ones. Last year I lost my last grandparent, and it's still hard to think about even today. It's still painful. But this experience that I had has helped me, and it's made me feel a little bit better knowing that they're in a better place. So I'm hoping that this experience, what I'm about to tell you, will help you in your coping and in your grief as well. So, also just to say that this is not trying to recruit anyone. This isn't trying to force my beliefs onto anyone. I'm not trying to tell anyone you have to believe this or that. But this is just me sharing my experience to you, and I'm hoping that it might make you feel better, help you feel better in coping. So, because I know some people get controversial about this stuff when it comes to talking about death and the afterlife. And I'm not trying to do anything like that. I'm just trying to help people and make them feel better. And, because I know it helped me in my time of need, and I'm hoping that it'll help yours. So, to start off, I'll give some backstory. I was raised Christian. My parents brought me up to be Christian. And this dream happened about 17 years ago when I first moved up here. And I was about, I don't know, I was about 15 or 16 or so. And my dad was a bus driver at the time, so he was gone sometimes overnight for a few nights, and so I was really depressed and kind of lonely. I didn't really know many people up here, and so it was really a hard time for me. So I was kind of depressed at the time. So I'm just telling you all where I was at the time that I had this dream. And I know some people would say, oh, this was just a dream. This is just your mind making stuff up. And, well, of course, you have the right to have that opinion. But I feel like this is something different. And, you have the right to make up your own minds after you hear this dream. But, yeah, so I'll go start from the beginning. So in the dream, I remember I was at the apartment that I was staying at the time, and there was a tornado coming. I remember looking out the window and seeing this huge tornado barreling towards us. It was, pretty frightening, of course. And I remember, being scared, and then I was running to the bathroom trying to find shelter. Then I remember I looked out the window one more time, and then it was right there. It was only a couple seconds, and all of a sudden the tornado was right there. And the way that I died in the dream is kind of like how, if you've seen a movie or video game, sometimes when a character dies, you'll see them slowly floating up. This is kind of how I died in the dream. I was slowly floating up towards heaven, or wherever the afterlife is. And everything all went into slow-mo. I remember seeing the building get destroyed, the apartment that I was in, like I could see everything crumbling around, and it was like all slow motion. In a way, it was kind of cool in a way to watch, but also pretty scary. But then I remember everything went all black, and just for a minute or two, and then all of a sudden everything was all bright white, like it was just pure whiteness. There was nothing else, no trees, no grass, nothing that I could see. It was just pure white. And I remember, I was still floating upwards, and nothing was really happening. I couldn't see anything. But all of a sudden, I just had this amazing feeling that just hit me all at once. And the best way I can describe it to you, and I know this is kind of hard to describe because it's something that isn't of this world. I don't believe it's something that I could ever experience again, and here's how I usually tell people is, basically it felt like every living being, every human, everyone was hugging me all at once. It felt like all the love in the world combined into one, and it all just hit me at once, and it was like the best feeling ever. And I don't really know, I feel like that's the best way I've been able to describe it, is just feeling like I'm being hugged and loved all at once. And it's just such an indescribable feeling. Like, it was so amazing. And it was so happy. I remember just feeling so happy and just being basically in heaven, that was paradise. And it's something, I've never felt again in my 30 some years of life. I've never felt anything even close to that. I mean, I've had some great, I've done some fun things and, had some great experiences, but I've never done anything close to feeling what I did in that dream. And I know some scientists or people would tell me, oh, this was just your brain doing this and that, and everyone has a right to their own opinion, and you can take this experience with, how you want. This was just my experience, and you can think what you want. It's a free country. But in my mind, I feel like I truly did experience heaven. I feel like I truly did go to heaven or the afterlife in my dream. And it was just such an amazing experience and feeling. And I don't really, it's such a hard thing to describe to someone who doesn't know what I'm talking about. But after this dream I had, I went and looked online and stuff, and I found out that people who had near-death experiences, people who actually did die, physically died, they and they came back, and they say the same type of things, with how they died, how they experienced it, the same feelings. And I truly do believe in some way I did die, or not physically because I'm alive, but I feel like I was given some type of preview of what heaven is really like. And I made this video to try to help some of you all who, again, have lost loved ones, people who miss them, and all that stuff. And I hope that when you watch this video, you listen to what I say, I hope that it makes you feel better knowing that they're in a much better place. What they feel is just, it's indescribable. It's just something that you can't truly explain unless you've actually seen, felt it yourself. But it's just out of this world. Like, it's something you cannot experience on this earth, So I truly believe that I was in a different world for a few minutes or however long. I don't know how it works. I'm not a scientist, but it's just something you can't experience on this earth. And that's how I believe it. You can believe it, whatever you want from my story. And I've never told anyone else aside from family. I've never told really many people this story either. So I'm sure some people might feel differently about what I said, and that's well within your right. You can disagree, and that's perfectly fine. But I just wanted to make this video to people who might actually, could need it, might make sorry, might make you feel better if you know that, what your loved one is experiencing right now, because that's what's helped me. Every time I hear about someone that passes away or my loved ones that die, and I always feel better knowing that they're experiencing what I felt all them years ago, And it's sad to see him go, but after I experienced that, I just feel like, man, it's such an amazing experience. It really is. And, it makes me look forward to the day that I can actually experience it again, I hope that doesn't sound depressing, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, this is meant to be a positive video for you all, I hope it makes you happy, and I hope it makes you feel better. And I don't know, it's quite an experience, and I feel in a way it's kind of weird to tell people this, because I know how people can react when they talk about, oh, I believe in this or that, or religion. So I hope people don't think I'm too weird when I talk about this stuff. But I don't know, I just thought it could be something that helps people, helps you all. And yeah, if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them. There wasn't much that happened after that. I just remember a few minutes of just that heavenly love, just, embracing that, enjoying that feeling. And then I just remember being woken up because I had to go to school. So that's all I remember from the dream. And I do remember the rest of that day, my body felt warm. Like I remember, because that never happens, but I remember my body felt warm the whole rest of the day. That was always kind of weird as well. I remember thinking that. I wasn't sick or anything. I was perfectly healthy, but it was just such an interesting experience. So I wanted to share that with you all. I hope you all don't think I'm so weird or anything, but it's something that I think could help people, and I hope it helped you. And if you have any questions, let me know. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope to see you all at the next one. Goodbye.